In this story from the Daily Mail, ladies and gentlemen, upon interviewing several betting men in Las Vegas, they tell you it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is where the money goes. You want to win money in Vegas? I'm telling you it's Donald Trump. Okay, I'm not literally telling you to go gamble. You shouldn't. But the betting odds for Trump have spiked. Take a look at this. Oh, I was wrong. So I said 6.6 earlier. It's 5.6. Forgive me, but Trump is up in aggregate 5.6 points. We've got the aggregate betting markets. Look at this. Kamala is down. Donald Trump is taken over. What are they saying right now? Okay, so that's not right. How do we zoom in on this? We got to go to like 6 months. Here we go. 5.6 point lead. Betfair, Bovada. Kamala Harris is no longer winning a single betting market, except maybe Predicted. Let's see, because Predicted has always been very much... I love this. The only one that still got Kamala winning. Predicted. Yo, betting arbitrage, here we go. But I saw this story, and it's funny. Right now, let me tell you, as soon as Kamala Harris started doing a press tour, the betting odds were collapsing. When we started seeing the clips come out from 60 Minutes, collapsing. Now, Donald Trump winning. Will Vegas put its money on Trump? Sin City gamblers reveal where they're placing their 2024 bets. In the early hours of the morning, of bleary-eyed Las Vegans meandered down a crowd of bleary-eyed Las Vegans meandered down the strip towards the Tropicana Casino to witness the end of an era. They say among the longest-standing landmarks in Sin City, the Tropicana was once known as the epitome of grandeur. That's right, they imploded the whole thing, knocked it down. That's kind of crazy. But in the world's most famous gambling city, people are having a hard time predicting who will come out on top on November 5th. With the odds up in the air, some have decided not to cast a ballot at all. Torta Jones was born and raised in Vegas. He knows all too well the major role his home state plays in the race for the White House. It is not that he never votes, but he has no plans. He said, if they had a gun to my head and they made me vote, the gun would go off. Wow. I can't imagine me voting for either of those idiots. I gotta be honest. Like I can respect that to a certain degree. But I think when you assess the facts, you're like, sure, criticize Trump, but Trump, that's just me. Well, he doesn't plan to vote. If he had to bet, he thinks the Democratic nominee is the likelier winner in Nevada. Perhaps in Nevada. I wouldn't be surprised. Quote, when he tried to shoot Trump, I was like, oh, this MFer has got it. But then Joe Biden left. I think Kamala might win. I just think they need somebody young in there. The latest average of polling from Real Clear Politics indicates he might be onto something. If Harris is up 1 point in Nevada with less than a month to go. So let's pull up the old top battlegrounds here from RCP. And in Nevada, he is correct. She's up a point. But so what? Seriously, so what? Who you betting on? To win the state? Sure, you can win money in that regard. The latest average predicts she's up. J.C. Lane, 46, traveled to Vegas to witness Tropicana implosion. Lane would not share who he's casting his ballot for, but when it comes to politics, he thinks it got a little crazy. He did make a prediction. He says, I feel pretty strongly Arizona is going for Trump, judging by the volume of signs and bumper stickers. His bet also aligns with the latest polling data. The Real Clear Politics average has Trump up nearly 1.5 points in the Western swing state. Indeed, it does. But right now, the latest is actually 0.9. With the polling bias, this is going to be wild because Trump may actually be up something like 5 points. But Jason Grape doesn't want to hear it. He was a 2016 voter who flipped for Biden in 2020. In November, both he and his wife plan to vote for Harris. I'm just tired of all the MAGA BS. I don't believe these people are real, to be completely honest. But, I know they're real. I know they're. The couple drove all the way from Chicago to Nevada to watch the Tropicana. He was worried first after Biden dropped out of the race, but now he thinks the 2024 election is giving off real 2008 vibes and Harris could win. My dude, what are you talking about? I mean, look, maybe I'm wrong, but all of the historical iconography is with Trump. It just is. Grape said he voted for Trump in 2016 because he wasn't paying attention, and the FBI investigation into Hillary Clinton swayed him. He thinks the results in November will have an impact that lasts for decades. And the 2024 really is the most important election of our lifetimes. Before first light on Wednesday, the Tropicana came down. The 2 miles along the strip, Donald Trump's 20-year-old Golden Hotel will likely stand for decades to come. It remains to be seen if the residents of Las Vegas put their money on him. My friends, you guys know this. I am not a fan of gambling, and I'll explain this. I think it is here's my view on all this stuff. If you want to go to a casino, I think it's great for some people sometimes. there is a rule in understanding responsibility in playing games. Me, I like arcades. Let's talk about going to the arcade. We go to arcade. They got skee ball. They got bowling. We go to a Bolero or something. We've got, Fourth Dimension Fun Center out here or whatever in Maryland. Fun place. You bowl, you get chicken wings. We have a good time. When you are playing these games, there's no return. You're going to put down $50 playing, beer pong in the arcade or whatever, or skee ball or something. And what do you win? $1 worth of prizes? Here's the rule when it comes to gambling. And I'm not telling anybody to gamble, but you set a certain amount of money you want to play with, and you don't play too frequently, and you're not there to win money. You're there just to play some games, and your return is going to be small. But here's the funny thing. The return for most casinos is going to be around half your money back, or actually way more than that. You'll lose a little bit you'll win a little bit less than half the time. So if you play $100, you might leave with 90. That's just entertainment for the night. You have a good time, you go home. I'm not a big fan of the gambling where people go in and they're standing there with 10 grand and they're just throwing it out and they're getting frustrated. I'm like, people got problems. They do. Now, that being said, when it comes to the betting markets, I actually think this is very different. So I'm a poker player. I enjoy playing Texas Hold'em. Rarely will I play any kind of PLO or Raz, high-low, whatever. And that's not really my thing. But Texas Hold'em, many people would say is gambling. I say it's not. With Texas Hold'em, you decide your own odds. You make bets when you feel the odds favor you, which means if you went to a casino and they said, we're going to play a game where you win 60% of the time, you'd be like, oh, okay, I'll just keep playing because I'm going to win money. And that's what I think about Texas Hold'em. As long as you know what you're doing and you're playing the right games, people who are not as good as you and don't know what they're doing, you're going to be winning money. It's not really gambling. That's how I see the presidential election and bets like this. I look at fantasy sports. I don't say that as gambling. These are skill choices. It's information games. When it comes to the presidential election, buying bets is in a certain essence gambling, like you're throwing money down. But I view gambling as games of chance to win money. I view games of skill and information to win money the same as any other competition. The people who are now making these bets are making them upon information and belief. And as of right now, it favors Donald Trump. Nobody is making bets. I should say the majority of people who are betting aren't just doing gut checks, right? The reason why Trump is now winning in the betting markets in Vegas is because Kamala did a bunch of polls. She did a bunch of press. Confidence was rocked in her capability to communicate effectively or to even have a plan. In fact, she outright said, I wouldn't do anything differently. And so what happens? Instantly, people say, I'm betting on Donald Trump. I would actually suggest, not for anybody else, but to me, I believe betting on Donald Trump is the better bet. Despite the fact that Alan Lichtman has predicted Kamala Harris to win, despite the fact that Nate Silver says Kamala Harris has the edge to win, I still feel like if I was going to place a bet, it would be with Trump. Same as Vegas. So why then, my friends, does Nate Silver say Kamala Harris has the edge? Why is Alan Lichtman predicting Kamala Harris? Well, I think a component of this is that some people believe the deep state, the shadow campaign, whatever, may play a role. Now with two hurricanes slamming into the southeast, it's entirely possible damage and destruction could affect this election. But my friends, I still must say, even with all of that considered, historic iconography and everything, it looks like there's a real reason Trump is being favored in the betting markets. We call this the wisdom of the crowds. It's basically ask the audience from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You've all seen Millionaire. What a fun show. Usually the audience gets it right in the earlier questions, but later on they start to get it wrong. Your best bet when you're playing Millionaire is to ask the audience early on if you need it, if you're not sure. Because later on, they're not going to know. They're going to say something like, in 1913, on which island did powerful interests meet to plan the Federal Reserve? And of course, you guys know the answer to this. Most of you do. But is the audience going to know what Jekyll Island is? That's a tough question, right? The wisdom of the crowd only goes so far. But it does tend to work out well. Right now, we are seeing people who are willing to risk money. The pollsters aren't risking it. They're getting paid to do these polls. The people who are making bets right now are outright saying, I got cash. I believe I won't lose. And they're making those bets. But you do got to consider as well, there's something called a value bet. A value bet is when, look, if the odds are 1,000,000 to 1, you place a $1 bet, you can win $1 million. Value bet. It's like buying a lottery ticket. You're like, I don't really care about the $2, but heck, if I won $1 million, I'd be pretty happy. So with Kamala Harris getting down in the odds, some may suspect there could be value bets shifting the game. I don't think so. At 46% on average, you're going to bet $1 and win $1.10. That edge doesn't really matter all that much. Certainly if you're doing presidential betting arbitrage, if you know what that means. But let me just stress, wrapping up this segment, wisdom of the crowd. That's why the betting odds matter. You know what doesn't matter, though? In the long run, I guess any of it, really. It does matter. We do get a sign of things. But if you're not going out there registering people to vote, advocating for people to vote, none of it matters. Because Trump's not going to win if you're not doing the legwork like everybody else. I'm going to be at an event in Bucks County in, I believe, Newtown. I tweeted it out this Sunday with Scott Pressler and Jack Posobiec for an early voting rally. We're going to be talking a lot about this stuff. And this is me saying, look, I got to put my money where my mouth is. I got to take the weekend and do the work. And we went to Rescue the Republic the weekend before. And now we're going to this next event because you got to. So we can't just sit around. Even, I do this show. I do two shows a week. We got to do the best we can. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know. Follow me on X at Timcast. We got more segments coming up for you, of course. AOC threatening political violence. Say it ain't so, AOC. I can't believe it. All right. For those of you watching live, we'll go to your super chats. For everybody else, stick around because those segments will be coming up later today.